This is a VFR 750, one of Honda's most iconic sport bikes. It is known for its handling, style, and amazing sounding V4. And this is what was waiting for me inside the one that I bought. Hey, my name is Michael. I strive to make educational, informative, and entertaining content here on YouTube. This is how I got scammed and what I learned from it. I don't know about you, but I love vintage motorcycles. Due to this, I attend the barber swap meets both spring and fall. This particular story takes place at the fall meet. I had just been on track a week prior at my first ever track day, and I was hooked. So hooked that I wanted to find a project bike that would make a cool track bike and probably something to ride around town too. As it happened, when wandering through the rows of bikes, I came across this 1993 VFR 750 in pretty rough shape. It was sun-faded, the tires were flat, and it didn't start. But I was excited and I knew right away this is what I wanted. The guy selling it was pretty nice, and the price of $500 was pretty fair. The backstory behind it was that the seller had bought it off another guy when it wasn't running. The guy selling it to me said it was just a starter motor and he had one, but not with him. He said he lived in Illinois and that he would ship me the starter. He made the offer for me to roll it in fourth gear and make sure the motor turned over, but due to the flat tires, it wasn't possible to gain the speed to do so. I was so excited about owning a VFR 750 that the alarm bells were drowned out in my head by what I imagined it sounded like when I got it started. I happily paid the $500 and painstakingly pushed it to the parts shuttle and then loaded it onto our trailer. Tons of people made comments about it as I pushed it, and I couldn't have been any happier. I started working on it at home and got it relatively stripped down. During this time, I did try to see if the starter actually did work, and I determined that it actually was trying to turn but not making any progress. With this, I decided to take it to where I worked at the time to have some access to some special tools and a few sets of hands. Due to how the VFR is laid out, if you want to take the head off, you'll need to drop the motor or at least lower it a fair bit. Since the process was basically the same, I elected to just drop the motor anyway, as I intended to media blast it and repaint it. Unfortunately, my first bad omen would come when I disconnected the exhaust, which spilled out what I can best describe as liquid Tennessee Vols. Once I dropped the motor, we took the head off and discovered the unfortunate, forbidden pond of coolant sitting in both front cylinders. Oh, and if you're wondering why it looks like somebody got shot on this lift, that is two-stroke oil. We originally thought the motor was just seized with carbon or light rust on the rings, and two-stroke oil can help with this, so we filled the cylinders with it, which unfortunately would never have fixed this and only added to my third-grade art project of smeared colors. Normally, I am the type to give people the benefit of the doubt, and if I'd ever received the starter motor, I would assume he genuinely didn't know, but seeing as the motor was locked and I never received the starter motor or a text saying that he lost my address, I am led to the conclusion that this was likely the goal. Fool some excited moron into buying this locked-up bike. What made me so upset, next to the time that I spent disassembling this thing, was that it was absolutely my fault. Even back then, I had a decent enough mechanical knowledge and a good enough ear for bullshit that I should have seen the red flags with this deal, but I was so excited I tuned them out entirely. The main takeaway here is that even if you have the knowledge to avoid being scammed, your excitement can easily blindfold you if you leave it unchecked, and at that point, no amount of technical knowledge will save you from your own monkey brain. When I said this deal had a lot of red flags, I didn't elaborate much. So I want to take this time to teach a few of these lessons to you so that you can avoid the same mistake. Firstly, all it needs is this little part is almost always bullshit. Think about that for a second. You want to sell this item, and if you spend $50 on this one little part and it's an easy fix, it would increase the value by hundreds of dollars and make it way easier to sell, and you just don't want to? Be aware of those words. The most common ICR: just needs a starter solenoid, just needs a key, just needs spark plugs, etc. If the person selling is claiming that it's super cheap and super easy to fix, yet they for some reason haven't, it's likely a scam. There are absolutely times where people know what's wrong, but it isn't worth it to them to fix, like a carb clean, a new stator, etc. But nobody is going to lose hundreds or thousands of dollars over a 10-minute, $10 fix. Second, the offer was made to roll the bike and see if it was locked up, even though the condition of the bike made it impossible. This is a common tactic because the seller knows it is impossible to do the test they offer, but by making the offer, they appear more honest. Another example of this is, well, you could hook jumper cables to it, but the starter is not installed yet. Or, it will run on starting fluid, but the carbs are off of it right now. Third, he claimed to have bought the part that it needed, but conveniently forgot it back home. For starters, This goes back to the first thing I said. The guy had the part, and a starter is not hard at all to change out, but he just never did. Furthermore, if you were going to sell a bike, would you really just so happen to forget to bring the one part that would make it 10 times easier to sell? This one is the most likely to be genuine, as of course people forget things all the time, but 3 coincidences in a row is rarely a coincidence. Also, again, he never sent this starter to me. Lastly, I want to say that this is not meant to dissuade anyone from buying used bikes. I wholeheartedly encourage it over buying new, and with vintage bikes, there's not really any other choice anyways. This video is just to point out a dumb, impulsive decision I made and the lessons I took away from it. Also, this is not to call out the guy who sold it to me, as I have no solid proof it was malicious. I have seen him since, but I sold the bike long ago, and it isn't worth causing a scene, especially because when I sold it, I broke even, so no money was lost, just some time. I also do not wish to go to jail over $500 even if I didn't break even, and I have no proof that he was being intentionally deceiving, and there's still a chance that it was an unfortunate series of events that happened because 2 people each made mistakes in just the right way for this to happen. If you made it this far and liked the video, I would appreciate a like and a subscription. It helps me a ton, and it'll push this video to others who may get some use out of it. If you have any suggestions for future videos or questions about this one, feel free to leave a comment. All of it is free, but immensely appreciated. As always, rubber side down, and I will see you next time.